Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay.
Hi guys, I'm
Hello,
Adam,
and I'm Lucas.
and welcome to In the Back Row, where we're we're gonna talk for like probably more than a few minutes, and
That's the
in
plan, at least.
in the end, you'll be either smarter or stupider than you were before. Either one. But
Jury's
that's a
still out on which
guarantee.
one it's gonna be.
Yeah, it is a guarantee though. Okay, so uh,
what's
this is
what's new with you, Adam? How's your week then?
my week has been interesting.
Yeah, what's that?
Just recently, you know that
Hmm.
I have a newer computer
Uh huh.
that I got from you, and it has been slowly devolving into me like playing all the games I never used to be able to play.
All right.
So just recently, it's been the Skulls for the Skull Throne Warhammer event on Steam, where they sell all the Warhammer games for super cheap. And so
Peachy.
I got Warhammer 2, and my entire existence has been devoted to killing everything as disgusting, diseased rats. And honestly, I've been having a great time.
Sounds like a jolly old time with friends.
It trust me, it has been a jolly old time. Give it that. I just ordered some pre-workout and some uh, protein powder and stuff like that because I've never used that kind of stuff before. And I also got a frankly way too expensive protein shaker. But I was like, might as well go all out. So that's
How
been
else are you supposed to get them gains? You
exactly.
that's what they say. You put more money into it, the more muscle you get out of it.
If
That's
only, if only.
you should see how big Bill Gates' triceps are. They're like
Bill Gates,
massive.
Bill Gates can pull himself up by
Mhm.
one arm and like into those like what is it called? Like it's a pull up into like a push up.
Oh,
You
like a
know what I'm
muscle
saying?
up?
Yeah, like a muscle up. He can do a muscle up with one arm, and
Mhm.
both legs are like weighted down with tractors. It's insane.
I saw,
That's
I saw him
actually
throwing. I saw him throwing himself up a ladder the other day. It was crazy. With one arm, just
it was
yeah.
it was currently undecided whether he was throwing whether he was throwing himself up or throwing the ladder down.
The rest of the world was moving, and he just stayed in the one spot.
It's one way to do it, and I mean, Bill Gates has the money. I mean, he's not going to live to see us plummet into the sun because of him. So I mean, it doesn't really matter. But I was like, well, okay, so if the more money you have, the bigger your muscles are. That's even more of like a bigger class divide than we have now. Because not only are those who have money, like monetarily, like better than those who don't,
Economically
and
more
yeah, advanced, if you
advent.
will. But now they're physically stronger. So, so eat the rich is no longer an option because they will kill us all.
The rich are fighting back,
Yeah,
and they don't even need weapons.
they
They
don't
just
need
have their
weapons.
fists.
It's like Sauron, like where everybody attacks him, he just like sweeps and takes out like 14 or 15 of us at a time. So
Except Sauron is like absolutely stacked.
yeah,
Sauron
I
with
mean,
a Lamborghini.
have you seen his tower?
It's tall.
It's
I love
tall.
I love I love dude, have you seen it on like 96th Street? It's
It's
massive, bro.
insane. Okay, listen, onyx is a very tough stone to get. It's not expensive. It's a
Hmm.
little bit bang bang. Having an entire tower made out of it, like Trump and his gold tower, just do not stand up. You know what I'm saying?
And I imagine the giant flaming eyeball must have cost a fortune.
Oh, at least. I mean,
Uh,
imagine the upkeep on that. Like, what if it
yeah.
rains and you have to like start it again? How much
How do you
gas does that
wash
take?
how do you wash a giant flaming eyeball?
Yeah, what if some like Balrog scuffs it or something? Like, how are you gonna how are you gonna do that? By the way,
No.
speaking of which, like
Yeah.
I've heard people talk about how insane like stuff like the Death Star is and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Imagine like you are living. First of all, you'd never see half the people on there. It's a small planet, you know. You never see
Mhm.
half the people there. So like, imagine going down to some kind of like you live in like the lower left quarter, like kind of
Sure.
like in the impoverished era or something like that. The
Mm-hmm.
news that the fourth movie, or like I guess the news that like rebels have like gotten this way to destroy it would not have even reached you in that corner by the end of the sixth movie if you had not already been dead. There is, do you know what I mean?
Not to mention that the Death Star blows up twice in that
Yeah,
time.
well, yeah, I mean, they three times if you want to count the seventh movie.
Oh yeah,
The
because
bigger Death
you
Star.
know.
Death Star 2, Electric Boogaloo. So,
I was gonna say like Death Star's 3, Electric Boogaloo,
I mean,
but that
Electric
that doesn't
Jubilee,
work.
perhaps?
Ooh,
Jubilee is more of like a
quick, patent it.
celebration, though. So, at that point, you've killed around, like, I'd say, like, the population of, like, Canada, like, after, like, per each explosion. So I don't know if you should be like celebrating, but the third one as like you killed half our population.
It's hardly a jubilee.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm psyched. They got all the evil stormtroopers who aren't evil and really
mhm,
just created for like serving these people, and then you've got
right.
the contractors and their families who live on there, and all of the lower like men who, because I mean, where's the lunch line? Where's the cafeteria? You're not gonna have a stormtrooper serving up. It's white armor. Are you really gonna steam lobsters with white plastic armor?
How do you regulate who goes up for seconds? They all look
Exactly,
the same.
exactly. And
That might be a bit stormtrooper
you have like
racist.
you have all yeah. You can clearly
Sorry to
tell
all
them.
the stormtroopers out there listening.
You can clearly tell
That's
them
my bad.
apart, Lucas, racist. So it's like, but like you have like all the space truckers bringing in food and like toilet paper. Uh, so like you just killed hundreds of thousands of blue collar workers trying to for the rebellion, right?
Mm-hmm. It's
So
for the good of the galaxy.
justified cause, I think not. You know what I'm saying? Tax them. That's what I say.
The rebels?
No, no, like once the rebels win, they clearly like they're like, okay, listen, we are going to blow up your ship, or
Or
you're gonna pay your electricity bills to us, and eventually they'd be like a pretty big power, I'd say, if they're getting paid from the Empire. 'Cause, I mean, look how rich they are. They just built a planet.
yeah, but like, why would the Empire be okay with that?
Because otherwise they'd be exploded. What do you mean? And they're like, you better not
Because
fix it, or we'll explode you before.
what if they secretly fix it though?
What do you then? Okay, then they'll put people around it, so they're clear. They'll be like just people in spacesuits, like looking down the shaft. Like, we still have a clear line of sight. We're still good.
Okay. I'm a fan of Phineas and Ferb. Segues are weird. And they had a crossover episode where it like kind of takes place with like, during the fourth movie,
Hmm.
as in like A New Hope, and it's like the whole joke is that it like the storyline is going on in the background while the movie is going on.
Hmm.
So in the canon of Phineas and Ferb, and also I don't know if this is canon for Star Wars because they're both Disney properties, but
Oh, it would definitely be canon.
Dr. Doofenshmirtz designed the Death Star, and that's why it blows up so easily because it's got the self destruct button.
Oh, that's so dumb.
But he did it.
Well, okay, so if that is canon, that means that
Mm-hmm.
uh, not Ray's dad, but the other person, the other girl from. Okay,
Oh,
first of
what's
all,
her name from Rogue
yeah,
One?
yeah, from Rogue One, who by the way looks like pretty similar to Ray. So Ray, okay, Jin Ursa.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
They look
I
they
knew
look
that.
like pretty similar. The
You're not
classic
wrong.
like white girl brown hair look.
Are they both British too? Well, space British.
Space. Because there's nothing those Britons like than colonizing. Jesus Christ, I guarantee you they'll be the first one up there to make like space slaves.
Yeah, how did Ray get a British accent? She has a British accent, right?
No, Ray doesn't have one. I think she does like an American, but Felicity Felicity Jones, who did Jyn Erso, definitely does.
Either way.
Also, somebody was like, okay, who do you think is like cuter, right? Felicity
Uh-huh.
Jones, so Jyn Erso,
Mhm.
or Ray, and
Mhm.
like, first of all, Daisy Ridley, who plays Ray, is like not like they're the same person. How do you choose that? I'm not
It's
100% sure
it's
that
like trying to
Ridley.
pick out of these two stormtroopers which
All
one's the
right,
prettiest.
racist. Okay, yeah, all right. Put it in the bag. Put it in the bag. Come on, let's move on. Jeez, we go off for 1 second. You're off about stormtroopers again. Like, oh,
Uh-huh.
stormtroopers take our jobs. Oh, yeah. Well, what? You wanted to be in the trash compactor fighting rebels? I didn't think so, Lucas. So let the clones do their stuff. Jesus.
Fine, fine.
Also, I do find it very interesting within that Star Wars lore that, like, first of all, that some clones are given different ranks from each other while still being the same. So what is like the lowest rank? Like are they like, well, the highest, like I could be the highest rank, and they're like, no, you're gonna be in the front lines. Here's a pistol. It's
That's
essentially
a
just
good
a it's
question.
essentially like a superheated flashlight. So don't get too cocky out there. Actually, do get too cocky. Your body is essentially just a barricade for the back line.
How did they decide that?
I'm not 100% certain, but so
Like, if they're clones and they're like exactly the same physically.
well, unless right, so, like some of them find the space ice cream and get a little fatter, and so you've got like the leaner ones, and then you've got the chunkier ones.
The
um,
rebellious clones.
yeah, the rebellious clone that like cuts his hair to the side, even though most of them are
Oh,
bald to wear the helmets, but yeah, the rebellious one that grows like a long mane of hair. It's like clearly sticking out the side of their helmet, but like nobody else like, wants to reprimand themselves, because that's like
I
the hardest thing of all, like saying like what's wrong with you inside. Anyway, what's
I
up?
I would love it if
Hmm.
in the like famous scene what in Force Awakens where it's like super dramatic and Finn like comes back into the hangar and he like goes off into the corner and like takes his helmet off and he's like breathing super heavily.
Hmm.
He like takes it off and has like super long blonde locks that just like flow out like crazy. He's like, "Oh my god."
Oh my god.
Where was he keeping all
Yeah,
that
well,
under
he
the
clearly
helmet?
couldn't breathe if he had hair in his eyes. I mean,
That's why he's breathing so heavily.
that's why I had such a weird time. He's like, I could only see like half of what was going on, uh, and like hair was in my mouth, so I couldn't really like I felt bad like arresting anybody. That's why they slaughtered everybody. Dude, I always thought that was so cool. The whole like stopping, like the Force is the tiny little microorganisms that live on us, but like whatever,
The
sure.
midichlorians.
Yeah, if you believe in that. But I I really like to think that like so these things are powerful enough to like you know I know the Force Unleashed isn't canon, but like to pull down a star destroyer out of hyperspace,
Oh my god.
um, or to what's the other one? Or yeah, to stop like a light gun mid shot. Which, by the way, great reflexes there, Kylo Ren. Um,
That's a good point.
my man here is faster than light, and not only is he faster than light, but he's good enough to stop light where it is, which is not talked about a whole lot.
And isn't he like facing the other
He's
direction? Like it's shot at
yeah,
his
it's
back.
shot at him. So not only is he not looking, but he senses the light as it leaves the gun and stops it halfway, which means that it didn't even get close to him. So I mean, good on him for having that good of a reflexes. But like, what if you like? It's like that the TikTok meme that was out there for a while, where people would drop stuff and like their butt grabs it and stuff like that. That that is Kylo Ren, but with everything. Like somebody
I'm really,
sneezes, and before they like go through the whole sneeze, he has both of his fingers knuckle deep in their nostrils. So
I'm really. People at home who like aren't familiar with TikTok are gonna be really confused about that butt comment.
it's okay. That's probably for the best. They're missing out on so little yet so much. There's no real way to describe TikTok other than the greatest waste of time.
Oh my gosh.
but it is a waste of time.
Did I tell you the first time I downloaded it? It was like a couple months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like late at night, and I was like laying on my bed. I was like, fine, I'll download it. And it was 8 o'clock, and I like started like scrolling through it, and then I looked at the clock again, and it's like 3 a.m. I was like,
It's dangerous. It's a weapon that can be used.
it's
And
like waking up in a cold sweat.
also what's super cool about it is like
Hmm.
all of that info goes to China, like just all of it. Not that that doesn't anyway. I really like I really like the super lackluster movement where everybody was like, yeah, fuck China. Well, not everybody, like 4 people were like, fuck China. Everybody's like, yeah, yeah, get up and going, and all of the all of the companies said nothing, and then like we just forgot about it. So everybody's back to buying Chinese things.
Oh, it's not really the biggest news coming out of China right now,
Yeah,
so you know, kind
I
of
mean it
flew under
was
the
for a little
radar.
bit, you know what I'm saying? Um, no, but I mean according to the Chinese, I mean, dude, numbers are down there, and we can trust them, right? So, uh, so I
No
don't,
comment.
yeah, I don't really see. And I mean, according to them, they're handling the situation very well.
Good on him.
Anyway,
uh,
yeah.
where do we go from that? We've walked ourselves up to the cliff that is known as like China controversy, and there's no exit from this point. There's no jump.
Behind us is like the Star Wars, like
Yeah.
racist clone troopers, like pointing their guns at us, like telling us to jump.
What's another thing you got hiding in that idea pocket of yours?
My little, let me go check around. Let me wrestle around a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so I rustled in there a little bit if you could hear that.
I heard it.
Uh,
It's a big
so
pocket.
out of the idea pocket, I've got 3 things. One of
Okay.
them is a Yahoo Answers board.
Okay.
Uh, Another one is going to be a full karaoke
Oh
version of
god.
my current favorite song, which is either I don't know if you can consider it a song, but I consider it a song, depending on how fast and how melodically you can sing it. But the opening to Avatar: The Last Airbender, or Rescue Girl from Super Switch Heroes or Force or whatever. Both
Or whatever.
bangers. Uh,
Yup.
yeah. So, oh, and the last one would be stopping the podcast. So,
As much as I want to hear your beautiful vocal cords
mhm.
bust out the like very beginning of Avatar, I think it might be best if we harnessed our inner McElroy brothers
Mhm.
and did a Yahoo.
Okay. Okay.
You got it.
I've got a few different ones that are pretty good here.
Okay.
I kind of like my wife, but her sister is much better looking. My wife is okay to look at sometimes, depending on what time of the day it is. Her sister, however, is very good looking and makes her look like a dog. I'm not sure I can handle my sister-in-law coming around to my house much more without making a move on her. How should I go about doing this? All right, what do you think? What's the best? What
Wait,
is the?
how should he go about making a move?
Mm-hmm.
First step, don't.
Oh, okay, are you sure?
Do we have a name for this guy? Is there a name? Or is it anonymous?
Um, Helmet D. That's the
Helmet
name.
D.
Helmet D.
Alright, Mr. Helmet. Um, it sounds like we've got a lot to unpack here, and thank God that this is a therapy podcast because I hope you're listening in right now.
Oh, it totally is. You're absolutely
Make sure your wife and your sister-in-law is also in the room,
right.
you
Mm-hmm.
know. And we can do some couples counseling because it seems like
Speaking of
there's just
speaking of philosophy, by the way,
uh,
and being philosophical and doing like therapy and all that
yeah.
stuff. If you don't want to
Hmm.
answer that one, because that one seems pretty like
The
feet
answer is
forward.
don't.
Yeah. um, the what happens after you die?
Wow.
Yeah,
First
we go.
episode, we're first episode, we're hitting the afterlife.
We're hitting the afterlife. Do you want me to give like a complete answer here?
Yeah,
I
I'm
really,
curious.
and I mean really, like the idea of the whole karma thing,
Mm-hmm.
and coming back as something else that you deserve to come back as.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be interesting. What if you're a really good guy, but like your type of good isn't someone else's type of good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how would it be? I guess we're not doing like any of these. Like we're just kind of talking right now. But do you think that there's a universal good that you would like? Okay, well I'm really good. Um, I'll be a prophet or some sort of spiritual leader in the next life, or is it like
Mm-hmm.
you'll be a really beautiful flower and like also like what would determine what you would be? Because what if you
Yeah,
like
that's.
kill? What if you killed someone, but it was in
Mhm.
self-defense of like a puppy orphanage, you know?
Uh,
It's like an orphanage full of
in
puppies.
what situation would that arise?
What do you mean?
And is someone attacking the puppy orphanage?
Yeah, with like high grade material explosives.
And you're like, I've got
I'll
to.
defend it, and then you like stab him with like the nearest pair of scissors or something.
Well, first off, good on you. We
Hmm.
don't want. Nobody wants to see puppies explode,
Right?
and that's just a fact.
That's just a fact. I agree.
And this is a hot take from
Hot
Lucas
take:
Johnson
no
here.
one wants to kill puppies.
I don't know, man. um, but going back to that question about like becoming like a really nice flower or like
Hmm.
becoming a like higher member of society. Um, if we're basing this off Buddhism, I believe you can become any form of matter. You know, like it's like become a speck of dirt or like
Hmm. Hmm.
elephant or
Okay.
lawn chair. You could be a lawn chair in the future. That is a good point. Like, what do you define as good? Like, maybe you want to be a lawn chair.
Okay. Yeah, like what's yeah, I guess it would be down to like what you would want, right?
Maybe you get to choose. What would if you got up there and Almighty Spaghetti Monster God came down and was like, "Hey, you get to pick whatever you get to be in the future." What would you pick?
What would I pick?
Yeah, you could pick anything.
I'd love to be either like some sort of world-changing item or
Uh
something
huh.
completely out of the way of civilization, like some rare jungle rose that grows and like no creatures naturally eat it or anything like that. Either that or
Fine.
like a nuclear warhead.
What?
I just want to make like an impact, you know? I want to be something somebody talks about.
Oh, trust me, you'll make the biggest impact with
Yeah,
that
make a
one.
nice deep impact. Well, actually, nuclear warheads, depending on when you detonate them, don't make an impact. They just scorch everything with like nuclear fallout.
This is good.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, we've got a new one.
Okay.
Parents, would you punish your 17-year-old son for purchasing ginger beer from a grocery store? It's illegal in America to purchase any type of beer that's under the age of 21. And ginger beer is a type of beer. Would you punish your 17-year-old? Ginger beer is ginger ale, for those who don't know. Would you punish your
Okay.
17-year-old if you broke the law by purchasing ginger beer?
Um.
The first answer is by Elena. No, he's vibing.
um. I think this is not a question of if he should be punished, but instead of how much he should be punished,
Just like
because this man has clearly broken the law.
this man is clearly he may not have broken the law, but he broke like like a written law, but he broke a natural law, which is never to drink anything with like beer in the name before you're 21, like root beer.
Yeah.
Um, uh, what other words have like beer in them?
Madison beer.
You
Is that how you
do
pronounce it?
not consume Madison beer until you're 21. That's a pretty fair thing. Because I think at that point you should know whether or not you should know whether or not to do cannibalism. That's like a thing that's up to you, and by
Right.
that point,
You want
uh,
to have your mind fully developed before you take the step.
exactly. You don't want to like you don't want to be shown that kind of like because that's adult stuff, you know.
Hmm.
It
We
cannot.
don't want any child cannibalism.
No, exactly.
Child cannibals out there.
Like, what if they start eating themselves? Like, who do you blame in that situation?
Yeah, the parents. And that's why this kid needs to be punished.
Right, exactly. It's a very short slope, a fast slide down to cannibalism from ginger beer. So, what do you think should be the punishment for such an awful thing?
Um, Timeout, but like for 4 years. So he has to like sit in the corner for like
For
4 years.
years?
Yeah. Like he doesn't
Wow,
go to jail or anything.
wow.
Because like that would be too harsh. But like also, he did break the law. Maybe not 4 years. 5 years. 5 years.
I would say that just like break his big toes. Uh, I think that that's such a good and underused punishment because you're like they're at that young supple age. You know, you heal so quickly, so it'll be like a 3-4 week punishment. But he'll remember it, especially when you refuse to take him to the doctors. Uh, Specifically, like he won't be able to illegally go to that store and grab the ginger beer anymore. That's what I would go for. Anyway, next question.
I think. Well, no, wait. Hold on.
Okay.
I I think um if the mother who is posting this, and I assume I don't know, it could be either parent, but if they are a member of the Russian mob, it would be perfectly on brand.
Hmm.
Um, and would teach the child a couple lessons.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
basically, I halted what you were gonna say because I agreed with you.
yeah. I'm glad that
Okay,
we've come to this together. Um,
let's do the next question.
this isn't a question. This isn't a question. More of just like some man child who got uh really angry. So this is I think this is about either like League or CS:GO. I don't know enough about
Okay.
either to know what Obsidian rank is, but Anonymous asks, "How is it fair that I lost all of my Obsidian progress simply because I did an aimbot? Hundreds of hours are now utterly gone. I unlocked everything for Obsidian. It isn't fair." With like 800 emojis after it. Like, and
Oh.
then you scroll down a little bit, and the top
Uh-huh.
answer, which absolutely is amazing, is "lol, get fucked." I saw that one. I wanted to bring it
Wow.
up.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty good, right?
I
Uh,
think he
he got what he needed to.
deserved.
Yeah, he definitely cheating
No,
is
no, I think he deserved his rank, you know. He played by the
you think
rules.
it's outsmarting the competition.
Yeah.
Where is it in the normal game that says that you can't cheat? It says that you shouldn't cheat, you know?
Yeah.
It's it's those big brained people that go above and beyond.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, ruining it for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Don't
So
cheat, kids, on your husbands or your games or your video games.
I found one that's this one we can stay on for a while.
Mhm.
Um, Jason, level 4, in the pet category asks, "Will my cat evade traffic?" I assume they do, but I've just let him out for the first time today, and I live next to a busy road. The top answer is Maxie, who replies with, "Many do, and too many don't."
Oh no.
So
The
let's first of all, there's many different types of cats, and first of all, have you seen those like hairless cats? If I was
Yeah.
one of those things, I would immediately dive in front of a semi.
If you
I
were reborn, like, in the afterlife
That would
as
be
a
hell.
hairless
As one
cat.
of those hairless cats. Have you seen those disgusting sweaters that get put on them?
Keeps them warm.
I don't know about those A&E trucks, but I'm pretty sure they won't they don't mind too much if there's a small bump in the road. That would happen to me. Cats aren't smart enough to evade traffic. In fact, they will get spooked by a car traveling and run right into its path in a stupid attempt to escape.
Oh no.
Cats get smashed in the road all the time.
Who is answering these questions?
Get smashed.
They got smashed.
Yeah.
That's horrible. Here.
Oh,
Let's think more on the bright side here.
okay.
Cats are pretty agile, and they always land on their feet. That's a known thing about cats. There's 3 things I know about cats.
Mhm.
They've got fur.
Mhm.
They have 9 lives. That's
Mhm.
a fact. If they die, they come back to life. You know,
Yes.
they don't get to choose like we do in the afterlife. They just,
They
yeah, they
immediately
just,
get pulled back as a cat. They're like, no.
yeah, 9 times. And the third thing is that they always land on their feet. So,
Yeah.
if the cat is spooked enough
Mhm.
and jumps up into the air as the car is barreling towards them, hopefully will have enough time to rotate itself 90 degrees and catch the front of the car with its feet,
Mhm.
and then it'll land on its feet and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think
Like,
we should start teaching cats. So if we start like sending them out into the road, they'll eventually learn. I don't like this question anymore. Let's move on.
yep. Okay. What is the most interesting way to cook an egg? Patty, level 6, asked this under food and recipe. Now, this is a very open question.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the most interesting way to cook an egg, like
Is
we're
she
not talking
looking
about
to
the
impress
recipe,
someone?
how to cook one. So it like the
Right.
the thing that we're discussing is how to go and how to turn an egg which is uncooked into a cooked egg. Not the
Did you
recipe, not what you add to it.
Mhm.
So
Did you
yeah,
say her name was Patty?
Patty.
Is Patty trying to impress someone? Does she have like a date night and like a guy's coming over and they're like, I'm gonna make breakfast for dinner, and she's
Mhm.
like, I've got to make the most amazing eggs.
Yeah.
These
Also,
these eggs just can't be good. They've got to be like walk into the room and they're like, wow, those eggs are impressive.
she didn't specify. I assume it's a she, but Patty can be a guy. They did not specify what is a good way to make eggs or the
Mm.
tastiest way to make eggs. What is the most interesting way to cook an egg? The process of turning that egg from a liquid to a solid. So what's the most interesting way of doing that? Did any of you watch the most recent SpaceX launch? Perfect way of doing it. The most interesting way would be to literally shove one of those little cookies inside or like in the bottom of those gigantic thrusters and just let it go to work for like a few minutes because it'll be cooked instantly. Like before the heat touches, it'll be fully cooked. The problem is getting it back out.
Disintegrated, in fact. The great thing is it's the versatility of
Mhm.
it, because you can put the egg underneath and it'll cook from the burners, or you can put the egg on top of the rocket and then launch it into the sun,
See,
and
these
then
are
it'll be
these are
cooked as
interesting
well.
ways to cook them. She never did specify how to get them back. So we we have a pretty open
Yeah.
like interpretation of these things.
The end product
The
is
egg
that the
has to be
egg must be
cooked,
cooked. Not that.
and in the most interesting way possible. So into the sun, who else has cooked an egg with the
Right.
sun? I guess well, I mean someone had to, right?
Not
Because
anyone.
there's that saying where it's like, all right, it's hot enough that you can cook an egg on your radiator or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
So naturally, the next step would be to throw it into
I've
the
always been
sun.
interested at the concept of re-entry burn. So I think it would be an
Yeah.
interesting idea to keep it in a safe place while it took off, right? Uh, but the interesting thing would be letting it
Uh-huh.
go and kind of like shoving it towards Earth, so that it would like land on your
Right.
outstretched plate, like, oh, eggs are ready, and you're like out, they're like, come outside, and they're like, why are we coming outside? And you'd have to protect it in such a way, like some sort of like thermal or anti-thermal coating, some sort of gel on the outside of this, right? So that it wouldn't
Mhm.
completely burn up on the way in, but it would burn up the outside, like the shell, and then cook the inside so it lands perfectly on your plate. The
See,
impact of which would destroy the plate and then probably your hand. Uh, but if we're talking interesting, that's my go. Is the re-entry burn?
you're looking for an orbital hard-boiled egg
Yeah,
that
he got the
that is
kill streak.
dropped out of a spaceship.
Yeah, he got the kill streak on that one.
That incredible.
Incredible, 20
Simply incredible.
kills. He went on a full rampage just to get this orbital egg. What if not to like pull the horses around too soon, but or to like circle back, but you asked me how I was doing. How are you doing, Lucas?
Almost 40 minutes in,
Yeah.
and we finally got closure to the other half of that conversation. This this first section was all on how Adam's day has been going.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I've been pretty good actually.
Really good.
I've I think I've kind of settled into this whole quarantine thing,
Hmm.
and I've decided that like things don't get done when you just stay in bed all day.
This is
Like,
true.
um, I was hoping that like I could just sleep through
Yeah,
quarantine, but uh, that's not really panning out to
yeah,
this point.
yeah. What have you been up to then? What are you getting done?
Um, well, just like you with your swole body games with your pre-workout, I have been also participating in the muscular growth.
Okay, go
That's the
on.
weirdest way. That's the weirdest way I could have phrased it.
No, there
Um,
definitely could have been weirder, but that wasn't good.
definitely on the worst end. Um, but yeah, it's great because in the past I've always needed like a partner
Hmm.
to like try to get up and going, but I've started to, get in a routine, which is really good
Yeah,
for.
it's all about that personal persistence, which I've actually been falling out of out of the good graces with.
Oh yeah.
However, a good friend of mine has asked me to start running with her in the morning with like other friends, which is terrifying because as a 190-pound, 6 foot tall person, uh, I am not built for running, nor have I ever been built for running. Uh, and in the end, I am sorely, like anyone is sorely mistaken in thinking that I will be able to keep up with, uh, continue on with, or or not die during this entire event. I
I
am
think we need to solve that.
I'm
How about
so
Heelys?
afraid.
Have you looked into Heelys?
Heelys are good for short distance, fast. Like they're all about mobility, but like short distance mobility.
Well, I mean, if you're at the top of a hill.
Well, but what? No. Do you know what
What do you
angle
mean?
you have to be to slide? You would be almost laying down on your back if you were going down a hill.
And you would be keeping up with the other girls.
That's true.
So,
That's fair. Uh,
so problem solved.
yeah,
Thank
sure.
you. I'll be here all week.
And I think that like Heelys are really, if you think about it, just the stupid like younger brother of skates. So what we should really do, because that's clearly
They're
like the
not
younger brother,
stupid.
but it's a there's like, but skates are still the youngest, like the middle brother, and so I think we need to introduce the largest brother, which are going to be tank treads on the bottom of your shoes, all terrain, like 30-mile-an-hour tank treads that just crush anything in their path. You can't lift your feet up, but
30, 30 mile per hour. That's
yeah, it
really
is also
fast.
once you start them, they have to run out of fuel before you stop them because
You've got like a you got like a lawnmower pole on the side of your foot. You're like
yeah, you're also gonna have to move your feet. Each one is like 50 to 80 pounds, right? Because it's like
Oh,
there's a lot of equipment on there. So
right.
you'll need to like actually pick up and move your feet in order to move in a certain direction. Um, so like your quad, your like not your quads, your thighs, your friggin' hammies, uh,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna be jacked by the time like
Mm.
one pull of those things is like 50 squats. So in the end, it's really for the better, and I think tank treads need to be normalized as a
And
as a classic footwear item.
and in direct segue,
Hmm.
you can now go buy our In the Back Row brand tank tread shoes
Yeah,
on our website.
Nike did sponsor us
That's true.
to
Sponsored by Nike and Adidas. They put their differences aside and they're here to help us get money.
because it's the greater good, honestly.
Right.
Uh,
And what greater good is there than putting money into my pocket?
none. We've come to a spoken conclusion that, or a spoken understanding that at the end of every one of these podcasts, we're gonna have one of us is going to have a hypothetical that we're gonna kind of throw out into
Mm.
the audience. Yeah, I heard that you have one of those.
I do. I do.
Ooh,
I've prepared a hypothetical for this week, and thank God that the last episode did not go through because I was not prepared in the slightest. So I am
we've
prepared.
been like smoother this time.
That's I mean, we got it correct on the first time, right,
Yep,
Adam?
first
We
time, first take, first try. Welcome to the Dude Perfect podcast. I'm
this
Zach, Ryan, Matt, or any other of the very undistinguishable white guys that are on there.
tie with the beard, and he does the funny joke where he gets mad and breaks things.
I don't watch Dude Perfect, so I will
You
take
don't
your word for that.
well, fine. Guess, guess you're not a real dude then. Anyway,
or a real perfect. Anyway,
are you ready for this hypothetical?
I was born ready for this episode.
Okay. Um, what is your least favorite fast food chain? This isn't the end of it. There's more to it
Oh,
than that.
okay. My
Personally.
least favorite fast food chain.
Hmm.
Shoot. See, I like most food equally, and
Yeah, but like which fast food chain that if
why
it like fell off the face of the earth, like you would be like, eh.
I would not know if any of like Taco Bell or Taco John's. I wouldn't even know if they fell off the face of the planet. Nor would I care. Somebody would be like, "Where's Taco John's?" And I'm like, "You do not call John a taco. We understand that
That's
he's of
very
like
rude.
yeah seriously racist and like I would assume that they're insulting someone. Um,
Very rude to associate
really,
John and give him that nickname
yeah,
as
really.
such.
I mean,
Um,
I mean, he's from the Philippines. I mean, come on.
so you, Mr. Adam, have been placed as the head coordinator for advertising and CEO of Taco John's, and it is your mission
Hmm.
to absolutely destroy the chain so it never like returns to the face of the earth. What
So
steps do you
through
take?
advertising.
Through either advertising or innovation, if you will. What would you do to destroy Taco John's and so it would never
I'd keep doing
ever
what
come
they're
back?
doing. They're doing a good enough job on their own. Like I'm not sure they need me for that.
They're
You
nasty.
go into a Taco John's and you tell me how hungry you are. I'll tell you what, their ads make me want to go eat at another taco place.
They're like, wow, a burrito does sound good, just not from you.
Yeah, man, I would be hungry for that thing that you might call a taquerito or whatever it is, but I would rather break both of my kneecaps with the tread
Mhm.
shoes than
Right.
go
Mhm.
and eat this thing that you have. It isn't a monstrosity. You have created something that was not meant to be created. Do you ever like
Mhm.
you have like two of those things in the fridge and they're both a few days old and they're both from like you going out and eating with friends and it was like a good time but you were like I'll
Mhm.
save some of this for later and they're both in the fridge, they're both cold and you're like I'll just throw them together and like warm it up together and then eat it. Like whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, even if
I
you're
would
not even
rather
the
do
same.
that and have one of those restaurants be like the literal grease scraped out of every garbage disposal unit at Sonic's, and the other
Uh-huh.
half of that be the hat from the guy from Tasty Tacos. And I would rather eat that
Just the
together
hat.
than go and eat anything from Taco John's.
You'd eat your hat before going to Taco John's, is
I
what you're
wouldn't eat
telling
my
me.
hat. I would eat the warmed up, grease covered hat of the Tasty Tacos mascot.
Taco John's, if you want to sponsor us, um, that would be great. Would you like to hear what I would do?
Yes, I would love to hear.
Um, I'm really glad you brought up Sonic because that was the fast food chain I was thinking of.
I have actually
Um,
never been there, but I know that they're greasy.
I've never been a fan of Sonic.
Mhm.
It's
He's blue.
it.
He's too fast. I just don't understand the appeal of a hedgehog.
I know. Gosh.
I know. Anyway.
um, but the steps I would take. I'm CEO of Sonic, and I would get a board meeting together, and I would be like, "Hey, all right, team, we've got two innovations for you.
Mhm.
First thing, you know how? Oh, since you haven't been to Sonic, I'll explain that you like drive up. It's like it's a drive-through, like minus the through part. So you like
Okay.
drive up, order, and then you stay there, and then someone like a girl on roller skates like brings you your meal.
Okay.
So first innovation to
Mhm.
increase efficiency, rocket-powered roller skates.
Are they
They'll
steerable?
just
My first question,
hopefully,
as a maybe investor,
yeah.
first question, hopefully steerable. What do you mean by that?
Uh, they're barely steerable, which is more steerable than what could be asked of Sonic.
Hmm. Counteroffer. We through the pant
Mm-hmm,
legs of
mm-hmm,
these employees that have the skates on them. We lace up all of like the turning left and right ones, right? Uh,
right.
but and then we harness a big like gamer race like racing wheel, like
Yeah,
one of those like steering wheels that you hook up to like Drift 3 or something like that.
yeah.
We do that,
It's just a huge rocket.
but we make it so that each leg is controlled individually. So they
Uh-huh.
they have to flip between feet in order to like steer successfully. Yeah, and we could also like robo like just like put like a back harness where all the food will be, so they have to back up into the window.
Reasons that's a good plan. Efficiency.
Hmm.
Um, and it's cheaper because all you need is you. It's cheaper because all you need is one girl because she can get in and out of that
Yeah,
place so quickly.
the whip we there is nothing to combat the whiplash though. That is something that we're going to have to put in the contract. That like, you
Yeah,
work here, we'll pay. It's still minimum wage, and we will not pay the whiplash.
we will not
The
be providing the neck brace.
Yeah, or the necessary money to like reinforce your head after like years of punishment.
Second innovation.
Hmm.
Second innovation. Um, extra sloppy joes. Now you've had your own sloppy Joe, I'd assume.
I think I've had one before. Yeah.
They're not good. I don't like
They're
sloppy
they're
Joes.
they're different. All right. I don't
They,
really know how they caught on, but boy did they.
but for the demographic out there that loves sloppy Joes, can't go wrong with a little extra slop. So we're gonna double the sloppage on the sloppy Joe,
Okay.
and by here's where it goes downhill. Here's where the two like plot A and plot B intersect into the final conclusion. Okay, imagine you roll up to Sonic.
Hmm.
You roll up in your car and you like press the button. You're like order. You're like I want like one extra sloppy Joe, please. And the girl's like I'm on it, and she makes that sloppy Joe, and then she she like gets on the runway and like lights up her super mega blaster boost, and
Hmm.
it's just, of course, the prototype is dysfunctional and steering is at a bare minimum. So she careens head first into your car, getting sloppy Joe all over the windshield.
Okay.
And um this would happen every single time someone ordered the extra sloppy Joe, because the extra drag that comes into play
Hmm.
with the sloppage would make her lose control. And the
Yeah.
amount of lawsuits would just absolutely send it out of business, never to be seen again.
Okay. Um, I
Thank
like
you.
that idea, but I think the sloppy Joe should be a random thing. So
Okay.
like they're like, what would you like to order today? Like roll the dice, and then you have like a sorry button. It's like a dome that has dice in it, and whatever you
Yeah.
roll, you get. And one of the options is 800 sloppy joes. So you'll roll a few times and you'll get like, uh-oh, I got 2 6s, or I got like snake eyes. Then immediately before you can pull out, the lady will slap on one of those like wheel defibrillators,
Yeah.
and at some point you've got to get out of the car because you know it's coming.
Yeah.
Then you hear the
Right.
dreaded like sonic beep beep backup music that like they they,
Uh-huh.
they play as half of the store gets up like a mechanized like truck unit and
Yeah.
immediately starts backing up towards your car with like those cement mixer things on the back of them, those things that like pour
Yeah.
the cement mix. So it has that,
Mhm.
uh, and there's like a like the like a smoothie maker, those blades.
Mhm.
Those blades are in there, so they just like shoot the sloppy joes into the blades, and then which gets fired out at like I would hope a speed that if your window was down would break your window eventually. Or if your window was up. So this thing is bombarding the side of your car
Mhm.
with sloppy joes, and like as you try to slowly like get the car race out of your car, and the sloppy joe slowly starts building up around your feet, and then you realize you're stuck, and
Mhm.
and you're allergic to sloppy joes, but your EpiPen is in the car, but the keys are
Oh
in the
no!
sloppy joes.
There's too much slop and I can't swim through it all.
Exactly, exactly.
And that's just, yeah, a man is dead.
Yeah, yeah. That,
And
that you will drown, and like it is gonna be worse than drowning in water because it will be from sloppy joes.
I think that's our time. So, thank you all for listening to the first episode of In the Back Row. You can find our show on Podbean, on Spotify, and we're currently working on Apple Music. Also, we're going to be posting on a YouTube channel of the same name, In the Back Row, on YouTube. I assume anyone who's seeing this knows us. So like if you have any like requests for things for us to rant about
Or
or
discuss.
or
But I
discuss
guess I guess ranting is a normalcy.
or any requests, we will maybe think about it.
We might think about it. Just
Maybe.
there is no promises.
Uh but like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, subscribe, and also subscribe again. Make a
Twice.
ghost account. Get a
Yeah.
VPN.
Mhm.
Start chugging out bot accounts through
Yeah.
Russian like servers. Get us to 1 million followers in the next 2 hours, and
2 hours, yeah.
we'll probably have like a 1 million special.
Right.
Well, I'll probably like post my feet pics for that or something. You gotta have incentive though.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the goal, ladies and gentlemen. 1 million, and Adam will post feet pics.
Yeah, that'll be the day, right? It
Would
might not be of my feet, but I will
would
post feet of pics or
No.
pics of feet. They're probably gonna be Lucas's. They'll
That's
probably...
not
All right, guys, 1 million, and we'll say, and I'll post
that,
Lucas's feet. All right, guys,
no.
it's been a good one. Thanks for listening, and
Thanks for
we'll
listening.
see you next week. Bye.
Bye.